What's up, fellow filmmaking friends? Josh here with Running Scared Motion Pictures, and today I'm beyond excited because I have with me
Kayla Garabedian.
Kayla, I am so glad to have you on. How are you doing?
I am good. I'm happy that it's, springtime almost, and it's getting sunnier, and the days are gonna be longer. So I'm a happy girl. The winter's tough.
It is tough. It's dark at 4:30.
Yeah.
We just got an extra hour of daylight now, and today was, I think, 62 degrees.
Yeah.
So I'll take that anytime, that's for sure.
Yeah, me too.
So what do you got going on? What's creative these days?
After this, I will be going to film with Riley, who you had on the podcast a little while ago. Nice. So that'll be the next thing. It's kind of like a little action. He kind of described it as like an homage to anime and not jujitsu. I forget how he worded it, but it's kind of like martial artsy. It's fun. I'm excited for when it'll be done. So it's kind of like foraying into more action and things like that.
It was cool when he got here. That's one of the first things he asked me. He's like, hey, I saw that you worked with Kayla before. He's like, would it be weird if I asked her to be on my project? Yeah. I'm like, dude, it's not weird. That's why we do this. Please ask her to be on your project. And then he told me about it. And again, I like his style. It's like Chris was right in the podcast. I gel with that kid. We are similar in a lot of ways. We have this similar type of energy. He's got such a good heart. You can tell him, he's doing this for the right reasons. So
yeah, no, that's exactly that's why I gelled with you. And that's why I heard Riley out too. Cause you could tell he's got a lot of heart. He's got a lot of good ideas. And he knows how to execute them too. So I feel kind of bad. Cause on the phone call, when I was meeting him for the first time, I had a bunch of questions. Cause when you are signing onto a project, you do want to make sure, you want to vet it and make sure it's gonna be worth your time. Especially out here, money's tight and it's unpaid and you're putting in your time. But he had answers to all the questions, good answers. And so I was I think this will be good and be fun. So
what got you into, I'm not even going to say acting in this, but what got you into the arts? What got you into crafts?
I think I kind of always had a creative spirit. When I was younger, I did ballet. So I did that from age 3 to 12. But a memory that always comes back to me is I remember watching X-Men, the first one, and I remember just feeling this feeling of Rogue, the character.
Oh, absolutely.
I remember feeling this kind of this jealousy, but also I could do that. I want to do that, but I didn't think I could because growing up in a small town, you don't think that's a possible life. And then I did the musicals in elementary school, and then my big break was Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. I thought I was on Broadway then. I was actually talking to my mom last night, and she was like, yeah, I wish I had a clip of it, which we have it somewhere. And she was like, it was you're on Broadway. And I was like, I thought I was. And it's just funny looking back on it. And then we did, in 6th grade, we had the Berkshire Theater Festival come. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're based in Pittsfield. They're a great theater company, and they would go to schools and teach kids how to write their own plays and put them on. And so we all wrote our own, and then the person who was there picked them, and they picked mine. So we put that on, and I got to direct it. I got to act in it too, and do the production design, and I loved it. I stayed inside for recess voluntarily to design the stuff. And then in the summer, I got to go to their summer camp. I'm not really sure why that wasn't my aha moment, let's go full force. But maybe because you get to middle. So after 6th grade, we went to middle school, and you change the schools, and then it's oh my God, I want to fit in. And then you feel you have to play small. But then I got to 9th grade, and then from 9th grade to 12th grade, I did the school musicals there, and also did basketball at the same time. So I would joke, my school's Troy Bolton. But that's kind of the background of it. But I didn't really start to actually commit to it until college. I saw I could take theater classes, and people are actually pursuing this as a job. Maybe I could do it. And then COVID hit, and then I feel that was a big event where people started to look on their lives and be what am I doing? What am I living for? What do I really want? And then I think that's really when I started to, apply to short films and get started on that. And then I finished school, got out, and then I was still kind of questioning it. And then I landed this short film with this wonderful girl named Francesca Prout. She has got an amazing story, but I was in like this short film that she did, like kind of based on her life. She has a book about it called I Have the Right To, and I played her, and it was about the after effects of going through sexual assault and like how that was on her family. And then since then, like it was just such a great experience, and I just kept, going with finding acting things and like feeling like, yeah, like this fulfills me. This is something I got to do.
It's obviously it's like heartbreaking to hear that she went through that experience, but like the thing that's so beautiful about that at the same time, like you turn this tragedy into like art though. Like I think that's something crazy that we can do as human beings. Like whenever I hear something like that, I'm always immediately interested in that project.
I think what it comes down to is, what do you make of it? Can you transmute it into something beautiful? Because I mean, I went through a pretty hard time like recently, and it's like, okay, what do you do with that? Like, do you fall victim to it and allow yourself to victimize yourself, or do you take it and say, okay, what can I do with this and build me up? And I do feel like from it, like I feel like I've evolved a little bit. Like I feel like a more secure version of myself. So like there can be beautiful things that come from bad things.
I think with a lot of artists and art in general, I mean, Kurt Cobain, Robin Williams, I mean, we could sit here for an hour and list names of people that like, where it's like, I think the bad things or the trauma or the tough parts in your life are almost what allows you to bring that like artisticness that you have to that certain level. So it's, it's crazy. Like for me, like I didn't start doing film stuff because like I was going through stuff on the ambulance or anything like that. But like once I found it, I was like, oh, wow, like this is good for my mental health. Like I really enjoy this. So I could definitely see how like, especially if you are going through something like, I don't know, just drawing, singing, playing an instrument, being on set, like those things really do. They do something for you in a different way that like very few things can. And I don't think everybody understands that if you've never like experienced or done those things. I was somebody who like 15 years ago, if you told me about like energy and this, and I would have laughed at you and called you a hippie. No, I was like, I wouldn't want to hear that. And now it's like, because I've lived life and I've had experiences and I've seen terrible things and I've seen beautiful things. It's like, I feel like that's what's honestly like, I wouldn't change any of it. Like the good, the bad, because like, that's what's helped me get to the point where it's like, I'm telling my art, my stories the way that I want to. And like, I hate to admit this, but like when I'm doing great and like, I'm in a really good spot, I'm probably less creative. Like I'm like less incentivized to sit down and want to write. When I have a little bit of a funk or I'm like trying to like, get it off, that's where I'm more like, it'll be like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, you know what, instead of just going to sleep, like, why don't I sit down and write for an hour and like, see what I can come up with? So it's like, I try to lean into it, but I think there's a fine line where you don't want to like, let it become like a depressing. Yeah, exactly. Right. And I think some people flirt with that line too much. And
no, I think so too. That is something that I have thought about a lot. Like it is easier to be creative when like, you feel like there's like something that you need to get out, which like, I think the arts is part of like, what makes us human and like humanity, and like that's how we deal with things, and it can be really beautiful. But yeah, there is like a fine line of, okay, are you searching out things that make you miserable for the art? And like that's where like I feel like there's like two camps. There's like people who, their life exists for the art and they kind of sacrifice their life for the art. And then there's people who are like, no, art is for life, to make your life better. And so it's like, because I mean, you also talk to a lot of artists, I mean, like actors especially, and like they miss out on a lot, like, like they cancel plans last minute to go do this thing. And I'm like thinking about my own life and I'm like, okay, how much desperation like that do I really want to allow myself to have? And like, you don't really live a full life that way. And I really feel like, the fuller life you live, the more it will contribute to your art.
I've said this before, when you talk about full life, to me it's like it's about creating those moments that flash before your eyes, like when you take your last breath. And again, like I've said this on the podcast before, I know I repeat myself a lot, but like not one time was I ever in the back of the ambulance with somebody and they were like, let me tell you about this boat that I had. Like they didn't care. They always shared stories about the time they were in a band with their buddies, or the time that they, it was like always almost something artistic, or it was like family or something like that.
Moments.
Exactly. And it's like you create those like when you're around people being creative and making something that's like, quite frankly, I do this because I make stuff that's better than I could ever do myself, and it's like getting that camaraderie and like just working with other people at a high level like that. It's fun, It's why I do it.
Yeah, that's kind of why I got into it too. Like I wanted to have experiences that I probably wouldn't normally have, and I wanted to connect with people. And I think that's part of one of the heartbreaking things, like when you do get to a point where you're feeling like, oh, you have to navigate people and see who you can trust, or like who is really there for like money, or like trying to get themselves better. Like I'm like, dog, I just want to connect and create, dude. Like I don't got time for that, but it's part of it. And it does make you stronger, I think, as you learn how to discern between those things.
No, I agree. I like that. When Chris was on the podcast, he had talked about he got a lot of submissions that had you in them. So you've been working on a lot of projects lately. So I guess a question that I think somebody that's new to acting would want to know is, I'm just going to assume you probably have a lot of projects coming your way, because I know I throw them at you. I know Riley's been throwing at them to you. So I know you get them. What are some things that you look for when a project comes your way that's like an absolute, oh yes, I love this? And what are some things that you look for that you're like, don't know if I'm the biggest fan of this?
I look for unique ideas that I think are authentic, that aren't trying to be something else. Like you can tell when a writer like actually like has a voice that's their own versus something that they're just trying to emulate, and like it's like supposed to be like an eye catch or an eye grab, or it's like something that's trending right now. Like I mean, like even when you go to like apply, like a lot of acting is like applying for jobs and like figuring out what you want to work, like what you want to work on. And I have a hard time getting myself to do projects that I don't feel passionate about, or like that don't mean anything to me. So I guess just like an underlying meaning that resonates with either what I'm going through, or like an idea that like I think is like unique, or like a reflection on the world. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but I majored in theater and political science. So like if there's something that I think is like intelligent and like has something to say, I guess a message. Like what's your message? If you don't really have a message and it's just, oh, I want to do these flashy things, like I don't buy into it. Or if it's like a role that I haven't done before. If it's like the Calvera, like I hadn't done a role like that. And like I was like, oh, that would be cool. I could play with like the accent and whatever. And then obviously if you're paid, that's another thing. I think actually a lot of actors talk about this, and it's like it really comes down to three things, and you should have two out of the three things. You should try to. Is it something new that you haven't done and that excites you? Is it paid? And does it incite your passion? So like maybe sometimes like if it's a new character you haven't really done, you're like, I'm not super passionate about it, but like it's new, let's try it. Obviously money, like that helps, that goes a long way. And then the passion part. So yeah.
The passion part, what matters when you've been on set for like 10 hours and you have to get that last thing done. And it's like, if you either pull together and do it because people are passionate, it gets done. And if there's not passion there, it doesn't get done. So yeah. I think that's huge. Is there anything as far as like, is there any genres you're looking forward to like working in, or is there anything that you kind of feel like you've already done now and you're trying to stay away from now?
I really want to do more action. I also would love to do like sci-fi, dystopian fiction. Like that is my, can I swear?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
That's my shit. I mean, I love reading it too. I would like to do a rom-com.
We're working on it.
I know. Those are the three main ones I think I want to do more of. I mean, I've done a lot of horror. I wouldn't say I'm going to stay away from it, but I'm kind of did that. But if it's like a cool idea that I haven't done before, then like, yes.
Well, again, I think you kind of touched on it earlier too. It's like, it depends on where you're at with your life too, right? Depending on what you want to do and how you're feeling at the time, because it's like, I think that does matter. That goes, that's a big part of that passion, you know, and why you want to do stuff. I like to work with people that I've worked with before. I like trying new things, but at the same time, like, there's so much at stake here. Like, I mean, there's really not. It's just people's time, and I don't like to waste that. I think as human beings, that's one of the most precious things that we have. So like, I hate like, even this last project back, like I apologize to you guys like a million times here, because like for me, like I had taken a long break. So coming back to it, I just hadn't done this stuff in a while. I was shooting so many other things. So like, I just wanted to make sure like the schedule was good. So I didn't want people waiting around, you know, for the next person to show up. I've worked with directors where it's like, here's the time we're shooting. And it's like, yeah, but what's the call time? No, I want everybody here. And it's like, are you paying that kind of money to where everybody should be? No, you're not. So don't do that. It's things like that, you know? And the problem is like, we had some issues with production. Like we had a sound person that bailed the day before. We had a person that was supposed to be on set that wasn't there. We had somebody that showed up for 25% of the shoot. So it was like, we were trying to make a lot happen in a short period of time. Most of the things that went wrong were completely on me that could have been like fixed or avoided. But again, it was like being gone for a while and then coming back to it. It's like, you have to like figure things out again. I'm so excited because this project, like coming back, working on this, I'll be honest, like I've said it before, like I don't think I've showed it in the podcast yet, but we've shouted you out like 5 times on a lot of things.
I know, I'm like, oh my God, stop.
But the scene in the short film that I'm honestly the most proud of is your reveal where you step around the corner.
Show yourself, witch. I will burn this house down around me to keep you from coming back.
Back? I'm already here.
It's like the way you did it and like the way you just demanded the room, like, and just took control and like you just owned the character so hard and just like made it yours. And it was like your eyes were so driven, like you were so dialed. And it was like you showed up, you weren't feeling great, running. This time of year, everybody's sick, right? And
I was like, of course I'm sick.
Yeah, right. And it's like, but you just put in so much effort, and it's like, I don't know. It was just, that was super cool to see. So for me, that's honestly like kind of my favorite moment out of the whole thing was like the reveal of like Calavera, like walking around that corner, and I don't know, it's awesome.
Thank you. I mean, I don't really remember things going wrong. I think you're thinking it too hard of like, I mean, we're all our own worst critics, right? But like I've been on other sets where like things have royally gone wrong, and like I think time was not super respected. It's kind of funny, like I feel like the most apologetic people are the people who really don't really need to apologize. It's kind of like a funny paradox, but obviously you don't want to go too far one way. That's a whole other conversation. Like we could really get into some philosophy here.
Right,
like I feel like my conversations always get philosophical, and some people like it and some people are like, Kayla, do we have to get this deep right now? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't turn it off.
When you're talking about arts like this, though, you have to. That's such a big part of it, right? Like everything we do is motivated by how we feel. Yeah. We talked about that a lot. So I think all that goes hand in hand. I love getting philosophical and deep. It's like, again, like that's what started this whole journey for me. Like expanding my dynamic range as a human being. Like the worst stuff that happened to me, the more I could appreciate the good stuff that happened to me. I mean, that's the thing that's tough about life. Like it can't be good all the time or else we wouldn't enjoy it. So you have to have ebbs and flows. You just hope that like when it's down, it's not horrible.
Super awful, yeah.
But I feel like, you know, it's tough. Like we live in a tough time now, you know, social media is tough on a lot of people for a lot of reasons. Like it's great, but it's tough, you know, I'm about to be 40 years old. Like I'm this dinosaur where I'm like stuck in Facebook land still. I'm trying to use Instagram more. I started the TikTok, which I hate, but like I'm trying to like get this thing out there and promote people and, you know, do all that stuff. So I'm learning these platforms and stuff. And it's like, they all have their own little niches of like what they do and how they target you. But it's like, it's also manipulative. It's like, I remember when it was probably MySpace back then was like the first one where it was like you put your song on your profile, you made it look the way you want. It was like, it really was about like being an individual and like showing off you. And now it's about like, hey, click on this so we can sell you something. So it's tough.
Yeah, that's like a lot to think about. Like my thoughts are going in all sorts of different directions with what you just said. I mean, especially growing up with social media, like I definitely think it has an effect on, you know, my generation and like our outlook on the world. And I think a lot of us are like kind of cynical. But I think it's important. I always joke that I'm a cynical optimist. Like obviously you need to look for the bad to know that there is bad and it needs to be corrected, but you also can't sink too deeply into that and like become hopeless. Like you need to have some optimism. Like again, it's taking like, there is good out there that you need to hold on to, but there is also bad out there that you need to defend against. And I feel like more and more in the world is becoming more apparent. And honestly, I think manipulation in the world is becoming more apparent too. Like, I mean, you see it in governments now. Won't go too far into that. I mean, like even social media, like you said. And I think a lot of what's going to make people successful, safe, and how to keep connection is, again, coming back to that discernment, like feeling energy. And I mean, it does sound very woo-woo, like you said, but I think like there are people who are like talking, they're like, oh yeah, like the energy, blah, blah, blah. But it comes from like going through the experience. Like I think so much of learning is experience. And it's kind of funny, like I feel like this past year, like obviously in school, like you learn all like the intellectual things and you learn like, oh, the world is such and such a way. And like you know it here, but when you actually go through it and you know it here, like it feels different. Yeah, I don't really know where I was going with that.
No, I like that. I think you hit on a lot of good things there. And it's, yeah, it's, again, it's like, it's tough because I never want to get political on the show, but it's like, I just don't think it's good either way. Like this is not one way or another. It's like, so we have that kind of stuff going on all the time. Like we're on the brink of war right now and stuff. And it's like, I want to be creative. Like I know, I can't fix that stuff. I stress about it. I worry about it all too. Like obviously, but it's like, I said in the first podcast, like truly, like the reason I started this is because if you focus on the negative, it's there. And there's plenty of it where you can stumble into like face first, but it's like, how do you want to live your life? You know, like you have to be informed. Like you don't want to have your head in the sand, but like there's only so much you can do. And I honestly think for me in Running Scared Motion Pictures, like the biggest thing that I can do is like donate my time to charity stuff, work with the better people to make, you know, more projects and stuff and see what we can do and who we can help, you know, boost up. It's like a lot of people say that. I say that and I really mean it. Like
and that's the difference. Like it's like trying to figure out who's saying these things because they think it sounds good and who are saying these things because like they feel it and they know it.
Yeah. I would love for somebody to work on a project with me and then call me back and be like, hey, I got picked up on this project because they saw me, you know, do this with you. Like, that's what I want. Like, that's my end goal. Like, I have a job that I like. I have a life that I like. I'm not trying to like grow or grind or get out of this. So it's like truly when I'm behind the camera, it's because I'm just trying to do what I love doing the most at the level that I love doing it. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't expand or get bigger or do more, but like a bigger camera is not going to make me have more fun on set with somebody like you working together. You know, like those things don't matter. Like, I feel like I've kind of like, my quality is decent enough to where I'm happy enough with it. And it's like, now I need to really focus on telling a better story, you know, better cinematography, just the better technical stuff all around. And it took me a long time to realize like, that's what I needed to focus on because we brought up, you have this like social media world. Unfortunately, I hate to admit it, but that is such a big part of this game. If you want to be anything creative, anything to get your name out there, like you have to hustle on social media. That's probably 75% of the game. Then you have like the craft itself. You've got the late night, you have acting classes, you have jumping on projects that aren't great, you know, working with directors that it's maybe their first or second time and they're saying things to you and you're like, I don't know what that means. You know, I read Judith Weston's Directing Actors and that book got in my head because it says things like, you can't tell an actor be angrier because okay, so you want me to clench my jaw? Well, no. Will you want me to yell and scream? Well, what, like that's not obtainable. Like that doesn't mean anything. And like I read that line in her speech on that and then it was like, now when I go to tell anybody anything, I'm like, oh shit, like I need you to, you know, it's tough, but it's like you have to be able to like communicate and communication, there has to be trust, right? You have to trust like what people are telling you and trust that they're going to give you a good project. And that comes into like that whole energy thing we've been talking about. Like if that's there, I feel like I appreciate you saying you don't think things went bad. And I don't think they did either. I think for the most part,
it was great.
Oh, I appreciate that. No, I think everybody was like, I seen a lot of smiles. I saw people having like fun and stuff like that. And like that meant more to me than anything. Like I got back the first night I got back on Saturday, I told my wife I was so disappointed in myself because I was like spent. I was out of shape. Oh no, I was just like, my arms were dead already. I was like, I need to get back into shape. The second night I got back and I said to her, I was like, I don't care how this turns out. Like I already got what I want out of it because it was like, I thought we had, 2 great days of shooting and this project, again, it's not going to be the best thing in the world, but it's going to be something I think we're all proud of. There's a lot of really good scenes in there. There's some really good cinematography. There's great acting in there. And if nothing else, like I think you guys are going to get some great stuff for your reels. Yeah. But now I feel like I'm starting to like find the people I want to work with. I'm starting to build the team out a little bit better. The next project I do, I'm telling you, like this was me coming out 2 years cold, having like, not doing anything in this vein up until this project. I think once I can find some more people to help with some of the details, that's what I struggle on the most. And I need an audio person. I've been begging for that on this podcast, I think every episode. But no, seriously, if somebody's in the area and they want to reach out and they like what Running Scared stands for and kind of what we do and how we do things, reach out. I mean, I'm willing to at least try working with anybody to see, their heart, number one, their skill set, number two, and, their drive and their passion. So it's like, I'm always willing to find that stuff. when you, I know I asked you like what you look for in projects and stuff, and you kind of talked about like, you know, people's hearts and things like that. That's kind of a hard thing to pick up on and tell though. What are some ways you pick up on that? Is it a lot from like the first time you talk to a director? Does it start when you get the script? Like when do you start like kicking that instinct on?
I feel like it's kind of an instinct that I've kind of always had, and I didn't really know. Like, I think just recently I've learned to like really trust it because like it knows what it's talking about. But a lot of my life, like I've kind of questioned it, and like you should like question it. Obviously, you're not right all the time. But I mean, the best way is to like look at things over time. Like, what are the actions that people are doing? Are their words lining up with the actions? But I feel like there's an honesty that you can pick up on. Like, you can tell when people are like kind of hiding things from you when they talk, and yeah, there's like an openness. I don't know, an authenticity. Like I felt it with you. I mean, like on our first phone call, like we started talking about like some deep stuff, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. This
but
works.
That's what I liked about you right off the bat. That's why I was like, there's more than surface level. And again, I liked the way you think. And you had talked a little bit earlier about how you kind of feel like you were spinning your wheels on that. Like, I thought that was one of the coolest things about you. Like, it's, you know, seeing like younger people care about anything these days is crazy. And it's like, you're somebody like, it's not even philosophical. Like, you just, there's questions about life and like things like going on. Like, it's crazy that we're here and we get to experience things the way we do. So it's like to see that you caught that at an early age, like that's awesome. It took me, again, I'm almost 40 years old, and I feel like the last couple of years it really started to sink in and I started looking at things differently. So that's not like a negative thing. Like, that's something that's like, that's super cool. Again, that was like right after that, again, it showed your intelligence. And then through that, I got to see like your drive and your passion towards things. Like, it really came out. And it was like, tell me about a project you worked on before. And if you didn't have a project before that you worked on where like passion was there or whatever, like maybe you don't get there with like the director or the person you're talking to because it's not there. But like when you do dive into stuff that's a little bit deeper, like you said, it like uncovers a little bit of like is this just like a fake nicety because this is what we're supposed to do before we shoot? Or like, who are you and what are we really doing? You know? So I like that.
Yeah. And I mean, like, obviously, like as you do more stuff in this industry, and it's depending on like, you know, like, do you want to do it as like a job and get money? Like, you do have to kind of do that little song and dance a little bit, I've realized, and like have to be okay with it a little bit. But again, it's like, how far are you gonna go? Because like, I mean, there is something to be said for like, you know, putting on a face when you don't feel like it. Like, that I think is a certain type of professionalism. But the like pettiness or like the like, yeah, the fake niceties, yeah, it's a conundrum for sure. There was something you talked about earlier that I wanted to like piggyback off of. One of them was like the directing and like one of like the things that I like when what directors do. But there was another thing that I can't remember. I guess I'll go with the director thing. One of my favorite how I can tell a director is a good director is like, how do they connect with their actors? Like, how do they talk to them? And like, how do they draw you into the scene? Like, I really love it when like a director can like, you know, get me into the scene and like paint the picture for me and be like, okay, like you're thinking about this, and like I can't really think of an example. I mean, honestly, like Chris Salvi, like he's very good at that. Like when I show up on set, I'm like, I'm gonna be good. Like, he's gonna be able to talk me into it if I need to. Yeah, just like directors that can paint a picture with their words and like make me feel something, or like it's kind of like hypnosis a little bit. Sometimes like I wonder like, oh, are the best actors like the ones that like have like, you know, a high tendency to like be like hypnotized? Like I wonder how I would do under hypnosis. But anyways.
Well, it's like method actors, right? Like you have to be able to be like willing to just, I don't want to say susceptible, but it's like you have to be willing to put yourself out there and like fall into this like, you're not you, but you're putting 100% effort into not being you at a high level. Like it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's a weird paradox too, because I feel like there's also two camps of actors. Like there's actors who are like, oh yeah, I lie for a living. And then there's actors who are like, no, I'm finding the truth of the moment that's like truthful for me in that moment. And like, so that's a funny, I feel like things always diverge into like those two different camps.
That's interesting to hear. I've never really looked at it that way. Like for me, I'm like, I'm making art. Like every time, like I don't get like split like that about it, but that's interesting to hear that that's like a way people think about it.
Yeah, I mean, like I come from the background of like, oh, I'm trying to find what's true here. Like that's what feels better for me. Like if I look at it as like lying. I don't know. I mean, I've never really been one to like to lie. I actually I journal a lot. I don't know if that that probably makes a lot of sense from things coming out of my mouth. But one of the journal entries that I wrote about, it was about when I was 4 or 5, and I remember I lied to my dad, and I remember he talked to me in this is that true, Kayla? And I don't remember if I kept lying, but I felt just this guilt. And so whenever I'm not doing something truthful to me, or feeling like I'm lying, I just feel this ickiness on the inside. And then I also just want to put out what I want to get from other people too. So I try to be as honest as I can without hurting people. I'm trying to be true to the story. So I'm thinking about the story. What's true for the story? What's true for me as a person? And how can I create a backstory in my mind that makes it feel true?
I guess the reason I probably never had that issue is because now that you've described it a little bit more, it sounds a lot more like an actor mentality.
Yeah, it's definitely an actor mentality.
Yeah, it's not a full art creation piece. No, I get that. Yeah. That's cool insight. I never heard that though before. But even stuff like that, I'll use that going forward. I'll try to use it the next time I talk to an actor and think about things like that. I think the way you communicate with people it's huge. And again, and it's I don't know, I don't want to say people are even lying all the time, but I think we live in a day and age where people are delusional sometimes,
I think that too. I think that too. And it really messes me up because I'm somebody I want the truth no matter what. I don't want a sugar-coated lie. I want the cold hard truth even if it hurts, because then you can grow from it and learn from it, and then you can make whatever you want. I mean, it's very Matrixy, right? Are you the blue pill or the red pill? And I'm always I am the red pill, right? The red pill is the truth. I can't remember.
Pop them both, see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah, right. But yeah, honestly, that's one of the things that makes me sad about the world sometimes, because I feel a lot of the times people choose what's comfortable rather than what's true and what's gonna help you.
Well, I think we live in this day and age where it's any sort of criticism, anything negative, people just don't take. I don't even think it's negative. One of the worst things somebody can do to me is if I show somebody an early cut or an early draft and they're that's good, I liked that. Okay, but where do I grow from that?
It's okay, you're not really engaging with it.
Tell me it's garbage, but tell me the part that you hate about it the most so I can focus on it. It's not good. I'm not Stephen King. This writing's not good. I know it's not. So let's stop lying and let's get to, but it's for me, again, I'm the same way. I don't want to be sugar-coated too. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm somebody, when I talk and with my ADHD, I just say whatever comes to my mind naturally. So it's I'm very honest, because it's I'm honest, but I'm not mean about it. I'm just open about it. Because again, my whole thing is if I say something, my only intent to say it is not to be a jerk, not to hurt anybody's feelings. It's to make us the best us that we can be. And I'm not saying because I said it, this will make us better. At the time, this is how I feel we could elevate what we're doing.
Yeah, and it's a collaboration.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. So, no, I like that. It's, and that's what I like about working with people, because again, for me, I'm a director where Angel said it, and it made me feel really good, where he was I really felt you let people, we got to have a voice in the project too.
That is so days. Important. Yeah.
Well, I'm not the best at anything I do. So getting that Monday morning quarterback view where people are seeing the outside view of it and they can see where I dropped the ball or I made a mistake or where something doesn't quite make sense. And then we can talk about it as a group and figure out the best way to fix that and overcome it. Yeah. Those are some of the best things. So it's yeah, it's a problem, but it's not, because it's that's where the teamwork comes in the strongest. I mean, when stuff goes good and smooth, yeah, trust me, I don't want things to go bad, but I don't mind a little bit of pushback and figure it out, because I guess similar in a way of I think if you're struggling a little bit, you're more creative. If things aren't going perfect, you're forced to do things in a different way, which is going to help you grow more. You might be inspired to try something you wouldn't have tried the first time if everything is going perfect. But now you're I'm kind of in a weird spot anyway. Let's just try this. And I think that those things are the things that shine the most for filmmakers anyway. I don't know about actors, but I think it's when and I don't even know if you guys get to be bold as often. I'm sure you're probably held more to the script and the words and stuff. Actually, instead of making assumptions, why don't I ask you that question? You've worked on a lot of projects. What's been your experience? Do you feel the directors you've worked with tend to want you to be ironclad, you do not deviate, or do they give you some leeway?
It kind of depends on the director and the project. A lot of the times they're pretty lax about it. If this feels better like saying it in this way, like go ahead and do that. But I mean, the thing about like mistakes, honestly, I feel like you hear from acting teachers a lot, like the best acting is a lot of the time a mistake. Like you'll like see it in like behind the scenes of like, you know, like the big Hollywood movies too. Like sometimes those best moments are ones that you don't plan for. And I mean, that's true to life. And like, I think that's why it's so great for acting, because you're capturing life on screen, because like you're not planning for it. I also think too, like, we kind of live in a world now where people are afraid to make mistakes, especially publicly. I mean, you know, things get filmed and like people can take it out of context. And again, it comes back to like, what was the truth of that moment right there? Definitely growing up for me, like I was always very fearful of like making mistakes. And I always wonder if that's like a testament just to like who I was as a person. Like I very much like have grown up as a perfectionist, or is it kind of like, you know, how we're raised? Like, I mean, we're taught like, you know, like you need to get everything right on your test, like blah, blah, blah. Like everything's so like, you know, right and wrong or merit based. Like you're nothing without like that merit. And like, I don't feel like we're not taught to like be like, okay, made a mistake. How can we turn it around and like, you know, be better for it? I mean, you even see it in like media and like cancel culture and things like that. I mean, I think another lesson that like I've had like pretty recently is like learning to not be afraid to make mistakes. And like making mistakes means that you're growing and getting better. And also like learning to live not from fear, but from joy. That's kind of like been a big lesson.
So what do you have? I know you've got a couple projects coming up. You're working with Riley and stuff like that. If you could have, and I know you kind of mentioned it a little, you talked about some sci-fi and some things like that, but like, what's your dream project? Like how big are we talking? Like what do you like working on, like real high-end projects where there's multiple cameras and a ton of lighting? Do you like working on more intimate projects where it's like smaller crew and cast?
I think I enjoy myself more when it's more intimate and smaller. I mean, like I do want to challenge myself and do more bigger productions. Because I mean, like multicam is cool. I mean, it also like you get more angles in less amount of time. I did work on a non-union TV show last summer. I think it was summer now. Where like that was kind of like my first taste of it, and like it was a lot of work and it was really hard. But I'm thankful for like that opportunity to get like that first taste of it and like become more comfortable with it, I guess. Because like it was also like a good learning moment for me, like as like a person, and like feeling like more grounded and like, okay, like I know what I'm doing, like I can do this, and like having faith in yourself, like that's like a huge part as you do more in this industry. But I think in my heart of hearts, like I feel better in a smaller set, just because like you can get to know the people better, and like it feels more like family kind of, and like you feel like if you know the people, then like you feel like you can trust them a bit more. But I tell everybody this, my dream role is to play Lara Croft in Tomb Raider. That's why I want to get into more action things. Yeah, so maybe this will be like my manifesting for it. But even if it's just like a fan film, I mean, the crazy dream would be to like play it like and have it, you know, be like one of like the bigger movies. But what else?
Is it just acting goals you have? You'd mentioned there's some other things you do.
Yeah. I write a bit. Honestly, I think the first thing like I have really done was writing, I think. Like I wrote a lot as a kid, and then I got into acting. And I feel like part of the reason why like I have become such a good storyteller in that way is because like I am a good writer. So like I have like 2 book ideas and I'm always like jumping in between. So like that's kind of like part of like my 5-year plan that I want to try to get those out, and like would love to turn them into films. I'm also a singer-songwriter. So like that's I think the next thing. Like I want to record more of my music, get that out there. Yeah, those are the 3 things. It's kind of funny because like when I was like choosing what I wanted to do when I was younger, like I'd be like, oh, I could be an actor, I could be a singer-songwriter, I could be a writer, and I'm like, those don't make any money. So it's always been funny, like trying to figure that out. I mean, I am also into like the outdoor industry. Like I love doing that kinds of stuff. And then I do feel like I may try to do a little bit more with my political science degree. So we'll see.
Nice. No, that's awesome. Being a young girl doing this in media and stuff, you always need to be careful, right? Like, I don't know if you had any weird experiences. Me as a full-grown man, I had kind of a weird experience on set one time.
Oh, really?
I had to, we shot this whole scene, edited this stuff all together, and then I had to completely change the edit because the female in it was a lady of the night, let's just say, and the director had tried to make some deal with her that didn't work out. And, you know, it's stuff like that. So it's like, I didn't realize that was coming. And then when I realized the situation, I was like, you know, maybe this isn't the project I should be working on right now. So you can get tricked sometimes. So you got to be careful out there for sure.
I think like a lesson that I've gone through recently really is just like discernment. And even the people who to your face are like, oh, like, you know, I'm here for you, or like, you know, I lift you up or whatever. And like people are very nice to your face in this industry. And then you kind of have to learn to, I don't know, trust your energy a little bit, which is kind of a lesson that I went through. But yeah, I mean, I guess weird, I haven't really had super weird things happen. I think it's more so like there's been some people I've worked with where I'm super aware that like, I don't know, they think, like they walk around like feeling like they have all this power, and then like they think like, oh, like I'm doing you such a huge favor, like I'm lifting you up and whatever, and like you kind of let them like play out their little ego trip. But yeah, there have been projects where I didn't do them, but like they kind of like skirted around like possible nudity, or like, actually I had a weird audition self-tape once where like the topic, I think it was like this undercover cop, and like she was gonna have to go undercover as like a prostitute, and like the first one was fine, like the monologue was fine, and then like they asked me for a second tape, and then like it was supposed to be for like in the scene where like she's supposed to be kind of like in undergarments, and like they were like, yeah, you can wear them during the self-tape, and I was like, no, big red flag, don't do that. Good thing I didn't. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad you trusted your gut.
Numbers don't mean shit. You got to go with your gut. Well,
and that's the thing. If something doesn't feel right, it's not. And if you're not getting paid a ton of money, they are not doing you a favor. You're most likely doing them just as much of a favor as they're doing you too, I would have to imagine. So
yes.
Yeah, it's you know, it's I feel like an industry like this is going to bring a lot of different people in. It's creative. There's I mean this in a positive way, but there's a lot of weirdos, right? There's definitely
right, Kayla, right? Yeah.
A lot of different people that, you know.
There's good weird and there's bad weird.
100%. You know, it's like I like finding the good weirdos. It's like I think that's where you get the projects that are fun and they have heart and they do things a little bit different. So, you know, I always look for those and those opportunities. You actually reached out to me. We almost worked together probably like 2 years ago, right before I fell off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to get that rom-com off the ground, and like that's actually like that was the last project where I was like I threw in the towel. I was trying to get a few things to fall into place. It didn't, and I just got so frustrated. I had walked away for a little while, but like once I had come back, I started working on this project that we had just got done filming, and I remembered you. So I went on your Instagram and there was a picture of you in this like witch's hat. Well, not witch's hat. It was like a Western hat, but to me, I was like, it fit perfect. I was like, oh my God, like that just fits so perfect for like what I'm looking for. And I reached out, and like the thing I noticed right off the bat is like, again, you brought it up, like energy is like a big part of like something that we should be paying attention to in this industry. You want to make sure you're doing things with people for the right reasons, and you always feel good about what you're doing too. I brought this up before. It's like, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with like nudity or sexuality in a project, but like you have to be willing to like, or not willing, but you have to be able to like provide a very high level of production to where it's like worth it. Like,
yeah,
we're not knocking out blockbusters that are going to get anybody like crazy famous around here. Like, it's just like, you need crazy money to do that. You need lenses, you need cameras. And it's like, if you can't provide that quality, I'm not saying you shouldn't create your art, but like, I wouldn't participate in something like that if I didn't think it met a certain level.
Yeah. I mean, like, it is kind of a topic that comes up like in like acting. Like, it's like, is the nudity serving the story? And also I think a big part for me too is, do I know these people I'm gonna be working with? Do I trust them? And like, am I gonna feel safe in that space? Because like, if you don't feel safe and comfortable in the space, like it's not gonna be a good performance. Like when I think about it, like, oh, like if you get like your big break, like in Hollywood or whatever, like how far are you willing to go? And that's kind of like, just in general, something that I've thought about, like, how far are you willing to go to get what you want? Or like, what will you trade of your morals that you feel now to get what you want? And like, that's kind of something I've observed in myself. And like, also I try to read in other people as well. So like, it comes back to that energy thing. And actually, you made me think of this. You talked about like something about like heart or whatever. I went to this film festival in New York City. It was Dances with Films, and one of the films, like I loved them. It was the last one. I think it was called like Smile. It Gets Worse From Here or something like that. And afterwards, like they had like their talk back, and the people just seemed so genuine. And one of them said that stuck with me was, you have to find not just like-minded people, but like-hearted people as well.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. And I feel like I'm kind of like cultivating that. And like as I meet people and work with them, like I try to like, sense in myself, okay, like, are we like-minded and like-hearted? So like, are these people that I can like trust? Because I think that's a big part.
I've had a lot of like younger actresses show up and do projects with me and stuff. And it's like, I always try to say like right off the bat, like, listen, if you want to bring somebody with you to feel more comfortable, like absolutely.
Yeah.
Like if somebody's not willing to do that or accommodate, or if they feel dodgy about that stuff, like we talked about, those are the things to pick up on. So this industry is amazing and you're going to meet a lot of wonderful people, but honestly, just be careful out there too. If something doesn't feel right, don't go with it. There's the last thing I'll bring up, you brought up like, we were talking like the worth of like a scene and like what you're willing to do. If anybody tells you, oh, if you just do this thing and you're going to make like, there's not just one thing you're going to do that's going to make or break if you are good or you're not good. So if somebody's going to lie to you and tell you that, they're trying to manipulate you. Like that doesn't have to do with your character. That doesn't have to do with your skill set. So watch out for those things out there. So I'm glad we were able to at least go over a few of those things. Because like I said, I get nervous about that stuff. It's like I've heard people say, like I've heard girls say like, oh yeah, I showed up to this and like nobody knew I was showing up. Like at a minimum, you need to let everybody know where you're going, who you talked to, give people passwords so they can pull up chat conversations and stuff if things happen. Like you have to be careful out there. Like I know why I went down this road, because again, being on the ambulance for all those years, like I saw the worst that this world had to offer. And it's like, this world's a beautiful place, but it's actually also a terrifying place that we need to be careful of too. So I feel like I want to do one or two smaller projects. Then I want to do the rom-com. I want to try to raise some money for the rom-com because I really want to put my best effort at it. I want to make sure that's something that's like if I do it, I want to do like a real cycle of like going to a couple film festivals instead of just like, my one local one. Like not bad mouthing that, but like I just really, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to put myself out there.
Go big or go home.
No, that's exactly
You're good enough.
There's a few things that I still need to work on technically wise and skill wise that I just want to like, to be perfectly honest, the next two projects that I'm working on and writing right now, there's things in there specifically only because I have to focus on those a little bit. So it's like, but then once I get there, I need a few more people to jump on to where I'll feel like comfortable enough with like not a full, but like a bigger, amount of people than me and like one or two other people that show up to help out, which again, I appreciate, but like I want to do this at a higher level where it's like, I don't want to have the setups and the shot changeovers take as long as they do. I think we can make things a lot more efficient and turn things around, because I think, especially when you have people on set, that downtime really hurts flow. It depending on where you are, it changes lighting. Sometimes you don't have enough time for it. So it's like, I just want to make sure that I can be as efficient as possible, because I think in a project like that, like, yes, it's important to go into the script, like staying tight to it, because I think the writing needs to be a lot better in a project like that than a horror or something. And I've said that before, and I hope nobody takes offense to that. I don't mean it that way, but I think when you do a different genre, like you're held to a higher standard for telling a better story. And I think if I can get to those certain marks, again, I'm close to making something that I think I'm going to be super proud of. Like, I like the work I've done now. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not trying to badmouth it, but like every time I'm done with a project, I look back and I'm like, why didn't I take the time to do this? And at the time I knew, because there's 50,000 other things going on, but I'm like, but if I could have just figured that out in the pre-production or ahead of time, I would have been able to do it. And the problem is I just haven't landed a project yet where I've been able to like have all the pieces fall into like working order.
I think that's very rare. That is like a lucky like shot in the dark, because like people say like it takes a miracle to get a film made.
Angel said it. We did one scene. It was the second day we were shooting, and nobody touched the boom pole for like 20 minutes. Like we didn't have a boom pole guy. We threw it up on a C-stand and hoped for the best. So I've been really working on the audio now and stuff. But it's like once I can get those few things worked out, I'm not ever going to make anything that's going to be like a Hollywood blockbuster hit. But I want to get to the point where it's like, I don't even care about like huge projects. Like if I do, I've said it before, like this will be my feature film. I love the Scarecrow. I think it's like probably one of the more underutilized creatures, monsters like in the film industry. And the Scarecrow stuff I've seen, I just don't think it's done right. It's not done right. Not the way that I would do it. For me, yeah, I want to do that with the character, but like it's got to be like it's a family story. It's about like the struggles that the family is going through. Like that's what I loved about Hereditary the most. You know, it's like I think there's got to be something underlying more than just a monster for a reason. And if you can hit on that like thing that people can like relate to, I think you can get to that next level and make something cool. So, you know, I've got that stuff, but I've mentioned it before. Like I'm more interested now, and it's like I'd rather do 10 projects where it's like we shot for a weekend and got to do 10 of them than one where I shot for 10 weekends, you know?
Yeah. And like, that's the most like realistic too. Like when you're thinking money wise and then like time wise and production value wise. Cause like it's harder to keep everybody on board for like 10 scattered out weekends than like one weekend. So it's like you kind of do have to work with what you have for now and build up to where you want to get to. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hope this doesn't make you feel weird sitting there, but I'm gonna say a lot of good stuff about you now.
Okay.
I've said it before, and I got to shout you out when you weren't here. But like,
I'm getting better at taking it.
You know, literally, like I'm not. This is not like knocking or taking away anybody else or anybody like anything else to help me on the set. But like your professionalism, your dedication, your performance, your effort was just truly like it was just next level. I mean, I think. When we finally get to release this thing, you know, you're in like the beginning scene and kind of the ending scene. So it's like that bookmark. We get to kind of see you like cemented in through a lot of it. And it's like, it just starts so strong and finishes so strong because of like your dedication, your acting and your performance. So like, I can't imagine like you're either just about to get to that point where it's like, you're not going to have to do too much stuff you don't want to do. I think you're going to be picking your projects and like, I hope you land something big. Like if there's somebody that's got a project out there, like, and you need somebody, like you're doing yourself a disservice for not reaching out. So like, I'm telling you, like, I say a lot of good things about a lot of people because again, I only work with people that I like, but like your professionalism, your just, again, the communication about the film, about other stuff, like you're enjoyable to talk to, you're enjoyable to have around on set. No, you really are. Like, and that matters a lot. You want good people on set that the other people are gelling with too, you know? And it's like, you connected with everybody. Like you just had such a good time. And it was like, I can't thank you enough for that. Cause again, like this project was all favors and handshakes. Like there was no money into it. Like my mom was awesome with my aunt and took care and made sure we had some food and stuff like that.
I loved them. I loved talking to them.
I've said it before, like I'm the luckiest dude in the world. Like I'm not the richest guy, like nothing like that. But like the family that I have, like pretty much every Sunday, there's like 17 to 20 people that go over to my aunt's house. We have dinner together. Like I'm so lucky to have what I have. I really am. Like they don't let me fail. Oh, I don't want to get emotional, but like, I just felt like being on the ambulance all those years, like I saw people that didn't have that. And it's like to have that many people that care about me, like it's a big part of the reason, like why I know I can go through and like do this. Cause like, not to sound cheesy, like I can fail and I will, but like, I've just got like the safety net of people that are just like there to help support. And it's like, what's cool is like, I feel like most people that get into this, like you don't have that from anybody. So you're just like scared to try to get anything going on. And it's like, here I am having like, again, like my Uncle Shelly, like he was there. That dude was ripping around, setting up lights, doing all that stuff like nonstop. If he wasn't there and helped out, we didn't have any other like set production people like that. We would have been like, I would have had to do all that myself on top of shooting. We didn't go over on anything, but like we got done in like the time I wanted to. We never would have got that done if it wasn't for people stepping up. And it's like, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, I feel like I was lucky enough to like get that connection with my family. And it's like, that's something like, again, not being cheesy, like not saying I can give that to other people, but like, I don't think people have a spot where they can always connect with people, you know, at times. And I just feel like when you're being creative, like it's different. Like that's the time to do it and have those connections. So, no, I that's why film and art and this stuff is so powerful to me. And it's so important, you know? So
I think part of that, like, I mean, a lot of people are trying to get into film now, and I do feel like it's because people are yearning for this connection, I think, because, I mean, like, you see it, like, people talk about this, like, we're losing a lot of our third spaces, and, like, a lot of life is becoming, like, work, go home, and, like, you're kind of trading your time for something you don't want to do, and I do feel like that might be why a lot of people are starting to create more and, like, want to do more film, because, like, that is one of the areas where, like, you feel like you're working towards something, but you're also like, you're having that connection. And the thing you said about, you know, your family, like supporting you, like especially like just like the stuff that I went through this year, like I do feel like a lot of what keeps people grounded and like also like the most successful people that you see, like I do think like they're a result of like the support network that they had around them. And I think that's really important to realize and recognize. Because like these, like, I mean, celebrities especially, like these people that we exalt and they're like, oh my gosh, like they're just like this grand thing that I can never be. Like they are a result of like all the people who had faith in them and who have supported them. I mean, some of them maybe like were willing to like step on some necks to get there. But yeah, I think that's really important. Like community's important. I mean, especially nowadays, and you know, recognizing that and honoring that, I think is really powerful.
Share with me just one fun memory that you've had on set.
Me, Peter, and Armani, those are two great actors too. Shout out you guys. We just like fucked around and had fun on set. I mean, even though like that was also like a tough material too. It was also kind of like about sexual assault, but it was a fun set. Like it was a cool set. We got to film in like a cabin, and we just were laughing the whole time and like fooling around. So it was fun.
I think those are the best days for sure. Where can people find you and contact you if they want to have you in their project?
I'm on Instagram, Facebook. My Instagram is just Kayla, Kayla .Garabedian, Garabedian. That's really where you can find me. Anything else is like linked in my bio for Instagram. So
I'll link everything in the description below too, so they can find you. Do you have anything you want to close out on or any final messages for anybody?
No, I just hope everything I said was coherent and won't be taken in any wrong way. There's nuance to every conversation, y'all.
When I record these, all the time I think like I say something, I'm like, oh, that's not going to read right. But then when I sit down and I start editing, I'm like, yeah. I think it comes down to the reason we feel that way is like, right? Like it's 1984, the book. Like people thought police you all the time. Like, oh, you said something. Well, here's what you meant. But it's like
you don't know what I meant.
Yeah. It's like, I think in this podcast, people can see that our intent is always to be positive, to try to like, you know, so no worries.
I also know I'm in safe hands, so that's important too.
Yeah. We'll make the edit look good. But again, anybody that wants to jump on the podcast and be part of what we're doing, I'm looking for I want to start getting like some specialty people too. Like you're like an actor, so that's cool to have you on. I definitely want to get some writers, like somebody that's like just a director. I don't mean it like just, but like a director, you know. That way I can start getting into some more like hard-hitting questions based on like the industry and those things.
And you can learn more.
That's exactly it. Right now, my intent is to I want to show off as many like good people in the area that are willing to work hard. You know, it's like, and then I feel like as it goes on, I'll start getting a little bit more technical with things and we'll start trying to break down things. And I would eventually, I'm getting to the point now where I want to start setting up some more practice days and stuff. I have a couple locations that I know I could have access to where we could probably do like 4 or 5 hours. And the hope would be like, maybe get like 4 or 5 DOPs, have them set up a scene. If we got like 8 to 10 actors, actresses, you know, split up, run through some lines. But like, how cool would it be if it was like, you get to go to this thing and it's like, do your lines however you want, like practice them, do them different than you ever would have done them before. Like, yeah, we'll have some scripts and some things to work off of, but like, it would really be a way to like push yourself and try some different things. If the footage ends up being cool and something you could use, like, well, now we got to shoot it. We got to do some different setups. People got to practice acting. And we just had a ton of people that got to like hang out and meet each other and know each other, you know, to hopefully work on something together in the future. But like, if any of that footage came out good, like that's phenomenal, real stuff. That's short content. Like it could be used. Yeah. If it's not, you guys practiced and had a great day and learned a lot. So I'm going to try to do some stuff like that. So
yeah, it sounds like in the vein of like a 48-hour like film contest. Have you done?
Riley brought that up. I haven't done one yet, but
sounds kind of like it.
To be honest, like I could see if I can make enough connections with enough local filmmakers, I would love to be like, hey, these 5 filmmakers we had on, like me and like, here's what we're going to do. And like, make it like, I'd extend it out to anybody that wants to do it. But if we knew we at least had a couple people that would submit, I would do something like that. I think that could be a lot of fun.
I can see you doing that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But Kayla, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was a blast having you. Yeah, we're gonna work on some more projects together. You're when we shoot the rom-com, I can't wait to have you in that. And we've got a couple other small projects I might do before then too. And I'd love to have you as part of those as well. So
yeah, I'd love to come back.
Awesome. Well, stay safe and stay creative.
Bye.